Kyle Tucker enters this free agency this winter with projections of 12-year contracts and $400 million. And I mean, the fact that he's still out there in the second week of January tells you that that is probably not going to happen anymore. And he is still, how quickly we forget, when he's healthy, one of the biggest impact bats in all of baseball. A guy that doesn't strike out a ton, just one of the best pure hitters in the sport when he's on, Joe. And I'm going to be honest, and it could be, there's always a side of this, right, where who knows where the Mets really stack up. But when you have Jim Duquette and you have Will Salmon going out there and saying the Mets are one of the teams in on Kyle Tucker, along with the Blue Jays, who we've known forever, right? That's not a surprise. And then the Dodgers are always lurking. At first, you're like, okay, it makes sense for Kyle Tucker and his team, you need the Mets involved because you got to get the most money. But when those guys are backing this connection, it feels very, very legitimate. This one surprises me, Joe. I think Kyle Tucker's a hell of a baseball player. But one, I've been assuming all along he's just going to enter a term on this contract that David Stearns has no interest in. And two, he's a corner outfielder, a lefty corner outfielder, which when you think of the Mets, you're thinking of typically more of a right-handed bat and maybe a little bit more position versatility. But I'm not going to sit here and deny how much of an offensive threat he is. So, number one, what is your interest in Tucker? Two, are you surprised by the Mets' apparent interest in him?
My interest is incredibly high. Kyle Tucker,
he's just a great player.
When he is healthy and right, he is one of the 15 to 20 most valuable position players in the sport, something in that neighborhood. So yeah, I would like another top 15 to 20 player in the sport in the Mets lineup. So sign me up. I'm in on Kyle Tucker. Do I believe the Mets are in? I actually do. And kind of to the point that you made, Jim Duquette reporting it, reliable guy. Will Salmon reporting it. Right now, the GOAT of the offseason amongst media. So if Will corroborates it, I'm okay. I believe you. But where I think the Mets stand just generally in free agency for the rest of the winter, I think it's just about being opportunistic. As you said, if that term gets up there, let's say the Blue Jays decide, all right, Kyle, we'll just give you an 8-year deal. The Mets aren't going to try to play with that. The Mets are operating, funny enough, like the Dodgers are operating with free agents, which is if the term comes down and the AAV goes up, we're ready to play. And the Mets have the payroll flexibility. We talked about the payroll, a couple of weeks ago on the show. They have the flexibility to make a significant addition to this roster financially. I don't know if it will be 2, but it certainly could be 1. And if Kyle Tucker is open to New York, which I know there's some questions about his desire to be in a big city and a big market, but I'm not going to pretend to know anything about that, about Kyle Tucker, the person.
Same.
So I'm going to talk about the baseball player, and I want him in the lineup. I don't care that he hits left-handed. And I think the Mets don't either. Like, I think they'd prefer a right-hander, kind of to your point. But if the difference is you're getting Kyle Tucker or Austin Hayes, I don't think handed, no disrespect to Austin Hayes, he mashes lefties and all that. But if those are the two choices, I don't think the Mets are like, we're going to go with Austin Hayes just because he swings the bat right-handed. I think Tucker is maybe the Mets' top target the rest of the winter. And it's just a matter of, one, him being willing to come to the Mets term and him willing to come to New York and choosing over Toronto and LA and places like that.
The handedness is a really good narrative to kill there, Joe. I like that okay, he's a lefty. He has a career 877 OPS against righties, and he has an 842 career OPS against lefties.
He hits everyone.
So, and even the home run splits are on a percentile are the same, right? Because he's had over 2,000 at-bats against righties with 91 home runs. He's had a little bit over 1,000 at-bats against lefties with 56 home runs. So it's like everything is almost exactly the same. Now, you're right. This one is interesting, more of a sense of how are the Mets willing to go? We've said for a while, and this is a nice advantage to have, but you actually have to utilize it. The Mets clearly this year have liked to sit out the beginning of the market where teams kind of cave to the players. Like, look at the deal Dylan Cease got. Dylan Cease takes that deal right at the start of the offseason, and you're like, yeah, that's a team in the Blue Jays being no, it's like, yep, done. I'll take it. The Blue Jays are just, they had to have the guy, right? This time of the offseason, for the most part, is more of the players caving to the teams where it's about term.